The concept of escape rooms had always intrigued me. The thrill of being locked in a room with a group of friends, solving puzzles to find a way out, sounded like a fun way to spend an evening. So when my best friend Mark suggested we try out a new escape room in town, I jumped at the chance. Little did I know that this experience would turn into a nightmare, one that would test the very limits of my sanity. The place was called the Locked Room, an ominous name that now seems all too fitting. It was located in an old decrepit building at the edge of town. The exterior was unremarkable, but the inside was another story. The lobby was dimly lit, with old, peeling wallpaper and an unsettling silence that hung in the air. The receptionist, a thin, pale woman with a hollow look in her eyes, handed us a waiver to sign. I barely glanced at it before scribbling my name. In hindsight, I should have read it more carefully. We were led down a narrow hallway to a heavy wooden door. The game master, a tall man with a cold, detached demeanor, explained the rules. We had 1 hour to solve the puzzles and escape the room. If we failed, the door would unlock automatically and we could leave. Simple enough. The door creaked open and we stepped inside. The room was small, cluttered with old furniture and strange artifacts. A single dim light bulb hung from the ceiling, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The door slammed shut behind us with a resounding thud. "Let's get started," Mark said, trying to sound enthusiastic. But I could sense a hint of nervousness in his voice. We began searching the room for clues. The first few puzzles were straightforward, and we solved them quickly. But as time went on, the puzzles became increasingly difficult and bizarre. It wasn't long before we found ourselves stuck, unable to make any progress. I checked the time. We had been in the room for nearly 40 minutes. My heart raced as the reality of our situation set in. If we didn't solve the remaining puzzles soon, we wouldn't escape in time. "Let's split up," Mark suggested. "Maybe we'll find something we missed." I nodded and moved to a corner of the room cluttered with old books and trinkets. As I sifted through the dusty items, I found a small locked box. There was no key in sight, but I noticed a strange symbol etched into the lid. It looked familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. "Mark, come look at this," I called out. He joined me, and together we examined the box. "That symbol," he said slowly. "I've seen it somewhere in here." We searched the room frantically, and finally we found the same symbol on an old painting hanging on the wall. Behind the painting, there was a hidden compartment containing a key. We quickly unlocked the box, revealing a piece of paper with a series of cryptic numbers. "What does this mean?" Mark asked, his voice tinged with frustration. I studied the numbers, trying to make sense of them. Suddenly, it hit me. "It's a code," I said, rushing to a locked cabinet in the corner. The numbers matched the combination lock. We opened the cabinet to find another puzzle, this one more complex than the others. Time was running out, and the pressure was overwhelming. My hands trembled as I worked on the puzzle, desperately trying to solve it. Mark paced back and forth, his anxiety palpable. Finally, with just minutes to spare, I solved the puzzle. A hidden panel in the wall slid open, revealing a key. We grabbed it and rushed to the door, our hearts pounding with anticipation. But as Mark turned the key in the lock, nothing happened. "What the hell?" he exclaimed, jiggling the key frantically. "It's not working!" Panic set in as we realized the door wasn't going to open. We banged on the door, shouting for help, but there was no response. The room seemed to close in around us, the air growing thick and suffocating. "Calm down," I said, trying to steady my voice. "The game master said the door would unlock automatically after an hour, remember?" We waited in tense silence, the minutes dragging on like hours. Finally, the hour mark passed, but the door remained locked. My mind raced with fear and confusion. What was going on? Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out, plunging the room into complete darkness. I heard Mark's panicked breathing beside me. "Stay calm," I whispered, though I was struggling to keep my own fear at bay. "There has to be a way out." I fumbled for my phone, using its flashlight to illuminate the room. We searched every inch of the walls, the floor, and the furniture, looking for any hidden escape. But there was nothing. "Maybe we missed something in the puzzles," Mark suggested, his voice trembling. We retraced our steps, going over every clue and puzzle again. Hours seemed to pass, and our desperation grew. My mind felt like it was unraveling, the confined space and relentless fear taking their toll. Just when I thought we were truly trapped, the door suddenly creaked open. Blinding light flooded the room, and we stumbled out into the hallway, blinking in the harsh light. The game master stood there, his expression unreadable. "Congratulations," he said coldly. "You solved the final puzzle." "What are you talking about?" Mark shouted. "The door didn't open, we were trapped in there." The game master raised an eyebrow. "The real test was to see how you handled the situation. The locked door, the darkness, it was all part of the game." I felt a surge of anger and disbelief. "You put us through that on purpose." He nodded. "We wanted to see how you would react under pressure, in a truly hopeless situation." Mark and I exchanged a look of horror and disgust. This wasn't the fun, challenging experience we had signed up for. It was psychological torture. We left the locked room, vowing never to return. But the experience stayed with me, haunting my thoughts and invading my dreams. I couldn't shake the feeling of being trapped, of having my mind pushed to its breaking point. Even now, months later, I can't walk past an escape room without feeling a shiver of dread. The memory of that night, of the darkness and the fear, is something I'll never forget. And sometimes, in the dead of night, I wake up in a cold sweat, feeling like I'm still trapped in that room, with no way out.